Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Cates, and I'm with Merchant Processing Solution. Today, we're bringing you another very interesting interview with Stephen Zaccor of Blaut Weiss Law Firm. And I have some interesting questions to ask him, but I'm going to let Stephen introduce himself and what part of law does he practice. Thank you, Stephen.
Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for having me. Again, my name is Stephen Zaccor. I'm a trial attorney with the Blaut Weiss Law Group. We specialize in personal injury and insurance disputes. 4 lawyers here, combined experience, about 100 years. So we've been doing it a while. We're here local in Plantation, Florida. And any kind of personal injury, physical, mental, social, emotional, and any insurance disputes would be right in our wheelhouse.
So I just read something today that the state of Florida is going to implement something for people who only use their vehicles. I don't know whether it's an insurance or a type of a license or tags that they only have to pay a 50%. Are you seeing a lot of insurance accidents during this time or slip and falls? Is any of that anything you're seeing really?
Well, obviously there's less cars on the roads because people haven't been driving as much, and there's a lot of stores have been closed, so a lot less people going out. So we have seen a reduction in car crashes. I don't have the official statistics, but I did see something not that long ago that traffic fatalities and injuries due to car crashes the last 2 months have been significantly below average, for the obvious reasons. So I guess you could point to that as a positive side effect, although an unintended one.
Along with the purification of our environment. They say that half these horribly contaminated cities across the world haven't seen blue skies in years, and all of a sudden they're seeing blue skies now.
I'm sure. Even New York has cleaned their subways finally.
Yes, after like 100 years, I thought I heard something like that.
Something like that.
So, but there's a hot topic out there that I'm hearing all over the news, and that is called insurance interruption or business.
Yes, there have been most commercial policies, most businesses have some sort of a business interruption coverage in their policy, and the insurance companies have basically issued blanket denials for the most part, without even considering the independent facts and circumstances of an individual business owner's claims. Many business policies, although they do provide coverage, a common requirement is that the business interruption occurs from physical damage to your place of business. A car crashes through your front door and you have to shut down for 2 days. That's physical damage. The legal question that becomes is physical damage if your premises were infected, physically touched by the virus? Is that physical contact? Is that physical damage? That'll have to be sorted out in the courts. Most policies have a virus exclusion. That exclusion only applies under certain circumstances. And it really remains to be seen whether or not there's going to be coverage for these businesses. But unfortunately, the insurance companies kind of as a wholesale blanket statement have just denied coverage without looking at the facts and circumstances of each individual case and each individual policy. It's a hot topic.
So you're not saying that there isn't a case there. They're just saying you're going to have to fight it. You cannot assume that because you paid for an addendum or that particular policy to be included, that they're going to even grant it. Most of them have been denied. Do you know any of them, whether you or someone you know or anywhere in the nation, have they been granted?
Let me be very clear. I'm not saying there's no case. The insurance company is saying there's no case. And okay, let me be very clear. Don't listen to your insurance company. They may be right, but they may not be. What we're doing here is we're offering free consultations. Bring us your policy. We'll look at it and we'll see whether or not there may be something that can be done. It's way too early for any kind of a legal fight to have gone through the process. If we need to fight with an insurance company to get coverage for you, that's going to take some time. And with the court system being closed down and the physical plants being shut down, that's going to take some time before that gets kicked in. No one's going to see any money anytime soon, but that doesn't mean that they will not be compensated by their insurance carrier in the end. It really is a case-by-case determination, and just don't take anybody's word for it. Get professional advice.
Well, with us coming into hurricane season, and of course, there's already a tropical depression down around the Bahamas today. We have to start worrying about that on top of the COVID, problem. Uh, when I see after a hurricane like Irma or John or any of these, lots and lots of claims going in for, damage to vehicles or damage to roofs or buildings. Again, there seems to be blanket denials on everything. Is that kind of the MO of these insurance companies to say no, 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 and then they have to come and talk to someone like you?
I don't want to disparage all insurance companies. There are certain of the lesser credible companies that absolutely that's what they do. There are better insurance companies out there that will honestly assess a claim, but the insurance companies make money by collecting premiums and holding on to those premiums and letting that money grow. So they're very careful about how much they pay out and how soon they pay out, because the more money they hold on to and the longer they hold on to it, the more profitable they are. These claims take time, though. You mentioned Irma. I was just working on a case this morning, still dealing with a Hurricane Irma claim. We have another case here in the law firm dealing with a claim related to Hurricane Katrina. That was 2005. Now that's a tens of $1 million loss, but that's a big one. But so these things take time, and you need both sides have to be willing to fight, and you need someone who's willing to fight with the big behemoth insurance companies to prevail.
So you're not saying don't fight. You're saying come find out whether it's worth it for you. Understand what the consequences would be, especially if you had a total loss or something, you're about ready to file bankruptcy because your business has been closed down too long and your debtors are, biting at the door. Come see you to figure out what's the wisest decision, especially if you have some of these interruption policies with your insurance.
Absolutely. Get professional guidance. Anyone who's not a professional at reading insurance policies and negotiating with insurance companies and fighting with insurance companies really has no business making the determination on their own. Come get professional help. It's free. I mean, I know that's what we're doing, and I think most law firms like mine are doing the same thing. It's a free consultation. We'll give you the pros, we'll give you the cons, we'll tell you what you need to expect. I don't want any false impression out there that come see me for a free consultation and you'll get a check in 10 days. It doesn't work that way. But you need to go into this with your eyes wide open. Some people, it may not be worth the fight. Some people, they absolutely must have to have that fight. So have somebody who knows how to fight and have somebody who's willing to fight.
That's great. Well, bringing up another topic that is starting to get a lot of headroom is people wanting to blame other people for the deaths or the illnesses that has plagued this country. What are we at, 57 or maybe even more thousand deaths to this coronavirus? Can you honestly say that it was China attacking us or sending yicky stuff our way? But can you hold a business responsible if they knew that they could give it to you, or maybe had people sick already and you were like on a ship or an airplane, and then you got off and you got sick? And is there a way, is this something that you're looking at as an attorney for people, or have I just heard this and it's not anything true?
Well, absolutely. We're definitely looking at some cruise ship cases. There have been some articles published and some pretty scary stuff that some cruise lines knew of infected passengers and knew of contamination. And one can only assume made a business decision that they were going to go out, take the ships out anyway, as opposed to have to deal with the ramifications. And if somebody got hurt or sick or injured or, God forbid, died from the virus as a result, those companies, those cruise lines can be held accountable. And what I do is I have to, whether it be a simple car crash or whether it be a fall at a big retailer or whether it be on a cruise ship, we have to prove that somebody did something wrong. We call that negligence, right? And that negligence caused harm to another person. So we have to prove a lot. In the case of the cruise ships, we would have to prove that they knew or should have known they had infected passengers on board. They didn't take the necessary steps to either keep those passengers off the ship or to properly contaminate after the new crop of passengers came on, to, not to contaminate, but to decontaminate. And then as a result of either acting the way they did or failing to act the way they should have, somebody got sick and injured. It's not enough for someone to just be on a ship and be exposed. If nothing happened to them, there's no case. There has to be an injury or either typically physical, but could be emotional. There are exceptions to that in the state of Florida. We have something called the impact rule, which could be a conversation for a whole nother day. But business owners have an obligation to provide a safe place for their customers. As a customer, you are paying in exchange for the price of admission. They have to give you a safe place to go, whether that place be Publix, Walmart, or Carnival Cruise Lines. It doesn't make a difference. Every business owner has an obligation when they have members of the public, their customers, coming in to provide a safe place for those people to be. So, but it's a case-by-case basis. It always is. We have to prove it.
I have a vested interest in my own community, and I've been an advocate for them to open our pools again. But I keep hearing from the HOA attorney that says, well, if somebody gets sick, they could say it came from our pool. It came from bathrooms. It came from our, stuff. Is that true, or would they absolutely have to prove, like you said, it's very hard to prove some of these cases. Wouldn't they have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that it came from, I don't know, the handle going into the pool or something, that it got contaminated? I wonder if it's sometimes just, crying wolf, just wanting to get money or something.
Well, there's no doubt that your HOA attorney is being extremely cautious. There's a lot of unknowns right now.
So it's just a lot easier to keep everybody away from the pool and not have to worry about that claim that comes down the pipe. But let's just say he opened your pool and you went to your pool and you got coronavirus and you said, Stephen, I want to sue my HOA because I know I got it from them. I would say, well, that's nice, Stephanie. How do you know? How do you know you got it from them? And it's not enough just to say, well, I went swimming and the next day I had coronavirus, because you could have got it from somebody when you went to Publix if you weren't wearing your mask, or who knows? I mean, again, we would have to prove that your infection came from that pool, that the HOA knew or should have known that their pool was at risk, and that you got it from them. I mean, that would be a very difficult case to prove. Now, if 25 people all got it within 5 days of being at the pool, now maybe there's something. Now we're starting to see a causal link that maybe it was the pool, because all these people got it from the pool. I just read an article in California. They did some sort of a trace where they were able to trace back a large group of infections from a birthday party where one person was sick and coughed. And then 4 people from that birthday party got coronavirus, that were at that party got coronavirus. And then, each one of those people infected several other people. So there were hundreds of people all back to that birthday party. If you have evidence where you could prove, back to your pool, arguably that, you have a case. But again, people talk about frivolous lawsuits all the time. I'm not going to say they don't exist, but if you can prove your case, it's not frivolous. But you have to be able to prove it. It's not enough just to say something bad happened.
Yeah.
Something bad happened is not enough.
Someone must have done something wrong. Someone
must have violated a legal duty that they have.
And then my last question to you is that this is all the thing down in Miami, people running around without masks on, obviously not social distancing. In California, the same thing, saying we have rights, open things up. We want to be able to go where we want and do what we want. Look at Naples, 7,000 people on the beaches with, no masks, no social distancing. They had to close it all up again. What do you think, how vulnerable is all of these people to lawsuits at this point, because people feel their rights are being infringed because it's a state mandate or a county or a federal? Can you sue? Because I hear now everybody wants to sue everybody.
Well, can you sue and should you sue are two very different questions. So again, you have to have suffered a harm. You can't just sue somebody because they weren't wearing a mask. That's not enough. You can't sue Publix because they allowed someone in their store who wasn't wearing a mask. You would have to prove that they did something wrong. So let's say Publix allows somebody in and not wearing a mask. Okay, maybe that's wrong. That's debatable, but let's say that's wrong.
What's the harm? What harm came from it? Were you infected?
Can you prove that your infection came from that exposure? Again, if you can't prove it, there's no claim. As far as individuals, good luck suing an individual because no insurance coverage is going to be in place. And now you're going to try to sue someone for their personal assets, which is a completely different ball game and not one that most attorneys are going to be willing to get into because there's too many questions about ability to pay. We have very good homestead protections here in Florida. So someone's living in $1 million house, you're not touching it no matter what they did wrong because that's their homestead property. So there's so many questions that the average person wouldn't even know to ask, let alone how to answer them. And that's why you need to come talk to somebody like me who can, give you a free consultation and say, you have something, you don't have something, or I need more information. I'm not afraid to look somebody in the eye and say, there's no case there. Go talk to somebody else, but I'm not taking it because I'm not in the business of going after frivolous lawsuits or silly lawsuits.
Well, that's very assuring for me. I've seen too many silly things go on in the world. So I'm glad that that's the way you do business. And well, Stephen, thank you. Do you have anything that you'd like to share that I haven't asked you, or at least just give us how people can reach you if they have some questions?
Sure. I mean, again, I know you deal a lot with businesses,
Stephanie, and there's a lot of questions out there, and this is all new, and nobody even knows all the questions to ask yet. We're going to be dealing with ramifications from COVID-19 for a long time to come, and we don't even know what some of those issues are. So we're here to help. If I can't help you, I'm sure I know somebody that can. Like I said, we have nearly 100 years of experience combined here between me and my partners. Our phone number is 954-634-1800. Again, that's 954-634-1800. Our website is blautweiss.com, BLAUTWEISS.com. Reach out. It doesn't ever cost anything
to talk to us, to get a consultation.
And if your viewers and the people who watch this let me know that you sent them, then I'll be extra special nice to them, Stephanie.
You're a nice guy to begin with, Stephen. Hey, Stephen, one last thing that I forgot to say at the very beginning is I've been hearing from people who are, they're getting messages from insurance companies that says we offer that interruption service, addendum. If you don't have one, you might want to get on board because it'll cover you if we have another problem. Is there anybody, including yourself maybe, that would review these policies to see if they're legit, or just say, forget it, don't bother to even go with payments on something like that?
That sounds very skeptical to me, number one.
Even if they were valid policies, they're not going to cover you for what already happened because you haven't purchased the policy yet. So the policy would only cover you in the future. This is hopefully a once in a 1,000-year kind of thing we're dealing with. But if you have a trusted insurance professional that you've dealt with, I would consult that person. Of course, call me and I'd be happy to take a look at it for you as well.
Okay, because that seems to be more and more people are coming up front and saying, I thought I had it, and then somebody offered it to me, and now I'm like, I don't know. If it the first time didn't cover, why should the second time?
Yeah, the policies are written pretty well in some cases, so I'd be very skeptical that these new policies cover something that the old ones didn't, but it'd be worth taking a look.
Well, Stephen, thank you so much for being interviewed today, and I'll get you a copy of this interview for whatever you need. And again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Stephanie.